Hello and welcome to MotorMotion E-Series, where we return for round 2 in Season 3. It is 2025 and the Sterling Parts Carrera Cup continues today at Dragon Trail International Raceway, a fictional circuit but one that feels oh so real to those who go racing, especially as we head into those lovely turns that we call Death Chicane. This is going to be a fascinating race. Last time out at Brands Hatch, we saw the tyres squealing, the tyres degrading, rubber all over the road, and some seriously great action in Division 1 and Division 2. This circuit today, 5.2 kilometers, 17 turns, and this is going to be a critical part of the season as we barrel towards round 3, which is a half race distance in a 6-round calendar, and that is going to be, of course, Spa next week. But today, of course, we get to focus in on Dragon Trails, another legendary commentary team coming in today, and the broadcasting partnership between MotorMotion E-Series and TrackSpotTV continues. Welcome into those on YouTube. We will be getting started in a few moments' time. Get ready for some nail-biting action at this wonderful fictional circuit in Gran Turismo 7. Let's head over and meet the commentary team today. Well, of course, it is TrackSpotTV broadcasting once again, and I have the absolute privilege of introducing myself, George Cook. I won't be in the commentary box today, but alongside myself will be John Wright and Matt Smith taking over the broadcast. So I will recuse myself for now and let John Wright take it away.
Good evening, race fans. Yes, indeed, we are here for round number 2 of Season 3 of the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Force Cup. Of course, sponsored proudly by Sterling Parts. My name is indeed John Wright, and I had the pleasure of being here for Division 1 and 2's kickoff for the season. And what an absolute benchmark round it was, and some benchmark action on the track. And speaking of benchmarks, joining me this evening will be the masterfully majestic Mr. Matt Smith. Good evening, Matt. How are we doing this evening?
Good evening. No, I'm doing better with that intro. Thank you very much for that, and certainly looking forward to the racing though as well.
Indeed, yeah, it's going to be an absolutely incredible night, as George already touched on. It will be the drivers effectively trying to survive the death chicane for 30 minutes. Tonight's broadcast, though, of course, and the whole series, as I say, proudly sponsored by Sterling Parts, the Carrera Cup, with its 6 rounds. So we'll be seeing plenty of them over the season, and as there we go, bang on time, the 6 rounds in question. Of course, Brand's tyre burning hatch was last time out. It's the Dragon Trail with the Death Chicken this time, and then it is Spa, Red Bull Ring, St Croix B and Bathurst to round it off. And it has to be said, Matt, that is quite the calendars, especially when the drivers will, for the majority of the season, be on racing softs only.
Yeah, it is an exciting season. Exciting tracks. They're all very well known, and particularly today, I am excited about Dragon Trail Seaside, one of my personal favorite tracks. So I can't wait to get into today's racing.
Indeed, yeah, nestling in the Croatian hills, 313, sorry, looking at the number of teams, 3.2 miles long is the track the drivers will be going around. As I mentioned, it will be racing softs only, so we are going to see pit stops from the drivers like we did last week, potentially even some 2-stoppers again, because that death chicane really does take its toll, and plenty of fuel saving. Ahoy! There it is, the teams for the Carrera Cup up on screen. It is the Lightning living up to their name. They're actually at the top. Oh no, sorry, it's Black Horse that are leading the way after the opening round. 2 cars finishing in the top 10. Of course, the incredible team structure. You've got the quicker drivers up in Division 1 and then their teammates in Division 2. The points are added together, so there's an overall driver standing and the individual Division 1 and Division 2 and the team standings as well. So a lot of pride to play for the drivers, and yeah, it really does emphasise that team spirit. And you've got to say, Matt, it is a good way of getting multiple drivers involved and really maximising these 16 car grids that you get with 16 teams taking part in the two divisions.
Yeah, I absolutely love this format where you have those teammates, but you can't work together on track. You can only work together behind the scenes to try and get faster and try and get the results in both grids. Definitely makes for a lot of fun, and it looks like it's shaping up to be a good teams championship as well, because in the first round, we saw a real mix between the two different divisions. We didn't have any team get in the top 5 in both divisions. So the teams race is really all on as well.
Yeah, it absolutely is. As you say, no team finishing in the top 5 in both races. Huncorp won one of them. Black Rose won the other. In Huncorp's second race, they finished 11th, so outside the top 10. And Black Rose Racing managed 8th, so that was the closest that the top 2 got. So yeah, it's going to be an absolutely outstanding team championship that's going to go right down to the wire. Because as we mentioned, Matt, we touched on the calendar, and I think it's fair to go back to it again, because there is a big variety in the courses there as well. So we could easily see different drivers in different divisions shine through. So really a nail-biting championship for sure.
No, absolutely right. I mean, you look at last week's race, Brands Hatch, that's a very famous circuit, but that a lot of these drivers would have done a lot of laps on. And then the difference between that and then coming now to Dragon Trail, even just the first 2 rounds, really going to have that different dynamic. And you've already mentioned the death chicane. You know, we've got these tight walls of Dragon Trail side that's going to play a big role, I think.
Yes, it is. I don't think we could have a 30-minute race on the on Dragon Trail without featuring multiple times the death chicane. We're going to see. It's just so close, and there's full commitment. I tell you what, the drivers don't mess about when they're getting through that corner. As I say, we do reckon that there's going to be at least one pit stop. Nobody's making it to the end on one set of tyres, so strategy will once again play a vital role. We will get down to the track though and start bringing you the first race of the evening. It will be Division 1, and can confirm that the starting order will be reverse order of the results from last week. So the grid completely reversed for the start of tonight's race. And when you talk about formats, Matt, that really is just another one. I mean, even after round 1, just going straight into a reverse order grid, bang. And that really will just, again, change things up hugely.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the organisers of this series. They seem to have got the format absolutely spot on. And the reverse grid here for race 2 really, you know, it's going to mix things up. We're really going to see a different dynamic. You know, you don't really have the chance to pull away at the front this time because the faster, in theory, the faster drivers are at the back trying to come through the field. So definitely should be lively out on track. And I mentioned the close walls. When you're trying to make the overtake and you're trying to deal with the death chicane at the same time, what a place to have to try and do it.
Indeed, yeah. Dragon Trail for me, it's absolutely one of my favourite courses on Gran Turismo 7. Of course, an amalgamation of famous corners out there. The death chicane modelled on Monaco. There's also an homage to the corkscrew from Laguna Seca, which is of course turns 3 and 4 up the hill. We're going to see plenty of action through there on lap number 1. But it is round number 2 of season 3 of the MotorMotion E-Series Carrera Cup, sponsored by Sterling Parts. We'll have a 30-minute race for Division 1 and then the same again for Division 2. We should be, there we go, just heading down to the start, just in time for the lights to go. There is 5 lights gone red, and they are out. It is foot down, it's flat out, and it is a flyer of a start for everyone. No false starts this week. We saw one in both divisions last time out. No false starts by the look of it on this one. It's a good turn into turn number 1, 2x2, full nose at behaviour. All the drivers keeping it nice and in tow. A couple of changes down the field ever so slightly. Oh, and we've got Samson going sideways. Oh, and we've got another car coming sliding through. Captain Snooze making another phenomenal start. And Water Arrow Scotty facing the wrong way through the corkscrew in reverse. head into the Degnas, the Lesbos, either or, up the hill they go as it is Toolshed that's leading the way with Retard in second place, Samson in third, Fastcott fourth, and Dernetti already up to fifth position. Luke Stone as well with a good start in sixth. Airborne having a good race last week, and we've got Bluey and Rusty. Rusty not looking quite so rusty behind the wheel, as to be said. He is keeping some pace. Wow, really throwing it on those curbs. Everyone has got a fixed setup as well. The only thing the drivers can change is their brake bias, and that'll certainly vital when they're trying to keep the soft tyres in the window for as long as possible. Here we go then. It is lap number 1. Who's got the death chicken counter out? Let's see if everyone makes it through. 15 cars, lap number 1. I tell you, Toolshed has got an absolute flyer on the start. He'll be able to take this. Oh, and he's hit the wall. He's all on his own. He's hit the wall. Oh, and he's bounced off and he's made contact with the car behind us. Samson and Faf are going to swap positions. ATAR is going to move up. There we go. Faf coming in the final corner. This one, of course, the downhill at Spa. It's uphill here at Dragon Trail, and Dernett's up to 4th place. ATAR at 5th. Stone holds 6th position. Faf's in the lead. So Faf has taken the lead. Toolshed's come into the pits. Toolshed has come into the pits from the lead after that contact. What a sloppy exit that was through the dead chicane, and it's Faf who's taken the lead of the race. Samson has got 2nd place with Dernetti in 3rd, ATAR in 4th, Stone in 5th, Airborne 6th position, Bluey and Rusty 7th and 8th. We've got a quick run down the rest of the order to see where they are. There's Watermelon in 9th position, and it's a 3-way battle with Brucey and Captain Snooze, and we know that Captain Snooze does not do so behind the wheel. We saw him get onto the podium last time out, and they are absolute nose to tail. Water Arrow looking to improve. He took a 2-stop strategy last week, did work for him in Division 1. This 2-stopper did work well in the Division 2 race, producing a 5th position. Down the hill we go, back up. Water Arrow trying to close in on Bluey and Matt. That is quite the opening there, and incredibly the race leader taken out, or is it incredible? The death chicane striking on lap 1 with the race leader. It's kind of written in the stars at this track.
Oh my goodness, what a lap 1 that was. That was chaotic. You mentioned, we talked about the death chicane, and then you also mentioned turn 1, that Complex going up the hill, and that was the 2 spots where we saw those dramatic big crashes, and it's come unstuck for a couple of drivers already. But Matt Dernetti is the big winner. Oh, as we see another driver at the death chicane.
It's Water Arrow.
Water Arrow is going, you don't want to miss the death chicane each lap, because these drivers are going full commitment into it.
Yeah, we'll need to see if the commentary booth can invest in a stationary camera in the bottom corner that's just mounted at the death chicane. And we'll have a little counter there. It is quite a consistent killer of cars at the moment, and it is certainly playing havoc up at the front as we've got a new race leader. As soon as you move away from the top, they'll all change. It's Samson. He wants a bit of camera time, he wants a bit of lead time, and as you mentioned, Dernetti up to 2nd place, Faf now in 3rd, Stone in 4th position. We saw Dernetti absolutely run away with it last week. Got a little bit close out of the pits for about 2 corners, and then he was off and to the distance again. He has now got to surely have just made himself an absolute favourite to bring home the win. He is that good.
Incredibly, we started with a reverse grid that we're already seeing. The top drivers from last week have made their way through the field. We've got Dernetti up there, Faf up there, who was 3rd last week. Stone as well, Luke Stone, he was 2nd last week, he's already in 1st. So the podium contenders have just cut through this field in the first 2 laps, really.
Yeah, the have. It's been an absolute incredible drive by the drivers that started at the back. The championship leaders, even after round 1, showing why they are. The championship leaders is Airborne, and we're hoping not to get Airborne off this exit curve here, as we've already seen. Oh, full commitment, and that's not what you need to do. Even that slightest touch, Matt, I heard that in your voice there. You've driven this track, you've done that exit. You know, even that slightest rub, that is so much momentum gone, and he's out of the slipstream, and he's now got to rebuild out of the last corner.
Absolutely, you can just see that was a great onboard shot we got there, and just how unsettled they are through that 2nd set of curves. You have to nail the line right. They want to commit. All these drivers are trying to commit as much as they can and carry the speed, but it just gets so loose that if you just hit the curve slightly wrong, it'll bounce you wide into that fence, as we saw. And that can just quickly get costly. I'm just, as we watch every lap, I'm holding my breath as the drivers go through
It is definitely one of those fuel clench corners, I believe they call it. Oh, and I tell you what, it's going to be fuel clench between these two. They're going to be nose to tail. I think we might see a little attempt at an overtake as we head up the hill. Airborne will look and be. Oh, and I tell you what, that is very close. I was thinking, I did say a moment ago we could be looking at an overtake up the hill, and you can't even see him. He's that close to the car behind. They get down to the bottom of the hill. Here he comes, halfway through the lap. No, and he's dropped off ever so slightly, so maybe a bit too close, too quickly there to nail it. But he is certainly showing the pace at the moment over retard ahead of him. Samson still leading with Dernetti in second, fifth, third, Stone in fourth place. Airborne and Atard and Airborne, 5th and 6th is Rusty and Bluey still in 7th and 8th. Here comes these two into the death chicane. Let's jump on board. Absolutely love this view here. It is just so precise when you get it right, and absolute chaos when you get it wrong. Ban on the edge, he was there. Atard taking a slightly safer line through.
Yeah, and we saw, I think, Airborne so much difficult when you have your view obstructed by the car in front, so he almost backed off an extra car length on the entry to the death chicane there, just so he could have a bit of view and get the line right on the exit. Still coming up so close to the wall. There's sort of battle packs now starting to form through the field.
Yeah, there is indeed the clear separation. The drivers are all on the same tyre and fuel strategy, but even with the first order grid, there are certainly little groups breaking away. Captain Snooze had a great race last week and is looking to continue that again this week. Already up to 9th position with Brucey and Scotty tucked up behind them as well, so comfortably in. Oh, and I tell you what, Bluey's made a bit of a mistake there going up the hill, and he's run wide and he's realised that he's been outpaced massively, and he's just moved over and said, you know what, I'm going to pick my battles here. That was, you've got to say, that was race IQ 200 there from Bluey. He knew he'd lost momentum. Rather than getting himself caught up and catching the driver up directly behind and then potentially bunching up and getting more involved, he's thought, you know what, I'll just let you slide on through. I'll pop into your slipstream and I'll minimise the damage here and get back underway.
Absolutely right. It is a long race, and particularly in these reverse grids, you do want to pick your battles. Remember, we're only 7 or nearly 8 minutes into a 30-minute race, so not even a third of the way there. You want to be at the pointy end at the end. It doesn't necessarily matter if you lose one spot. Now, as we again look at the death chicane and see contact with the fence.
Yes, indeed, and that is Stone. He is, look at the speed, the overspeed that he's got there. That's almost like a GT3 versus a GT4. In fact, that's what a GT3 versus a GT4 looks like. And that is the difference. That is how much momentum you can lose with that wiggle. Two of the drivers absolutely collecting that wall on the outside, and there is light damage, so it will repair itself, but it's a law of diminishing returns. Picking up damage on that lap every time around. I mean, not only that, it's going to be messing with your fuel strategy and your tyre strategy. It is such an overly detrimental effect. It really is worth taking it easy and making it safely through, because everyone else is going to struggle. Unsurprisingly, if anyone bet against Dernetti winning this race, I'm afraid you're cooping his bus, as we say here in the Scottish. In the Scottish comedy boxes. But yeah, Dernetti has already clocked the fastest lap of the race. He's already winning awards for most consistent lap times, best tyre management, best fuel strategy, and a big old gap over Samson, who is now left squabbling with Stone, who, it has to be said, Matt, Stone, you've got to think, is going to be feeling very pleased now. He's going to have the bit between his teeth, and he is closing in on Samson ahead of him. Could be a very good result here for Stone, certainly in stint number 1 of the race.
Absolutely right. He's focused in now. Samson did have the lead for a little period there, but he's lost out to Matt, and Stone is the next one lining him up. He'll be trying to get through so that he can maybe try and keep up with Matt, as again two drivers slapping the fence at the end of the death chicane. Every lap we have to come back and sort of pause what we're talking about, because there's a driver at the fence.
Yeah, there we go, another one. Rusty has gone a bit rusty through the death chicane there as well, and that is more positions lost. So the only consistent thing that the drivers are doing is hitting the wall. That's not the type of consistency. I know I said at the end of last week's race, the most consistent drivers will always do well. That's a consistency you most definitely do not want. Captain Suze, he definitely has the consistency to make up places in races, and he is doing so again. He's doing so once again. He's now got a train behind him. Rusty getting himself back underway again and slotting directly in behind Captain Snooze. So he's got Bluey tucked into his slipstream as well. But see what Snooze can do when he's got a bit of clear track ahead of him at Brands Hatch. Let's see what he can do at the Dragon Trail. Lead these drivers a merry dance on their way into the pits. And there's a pit stop that's going to be fairly soon, I would say, a couple of laps, judging by those front lefts. They've certainly had the Brands Hatch treatment so far. The drivers looking to scrap for track position, almost as important here as it is at Brands Hatch. Two absolute testers for the drivers to get the season underway, but that's exactly the way it should be. We want to test every single aspect of that driver ability to make sure it is worthy champions. I'll tell you what, Matt, given the calendar that we've got and the driving that we're seeing so far, it is going to be a worthy champion that survives the calendar and the rest of the field.
Absolutely right, and the tracks as well, as we're seeing the track has claimed a couple of victims here today already. As Bluey there makes a nice move. Oh, and again the track claims contact and a double move. Who was that? Brucey getting 2 spots for free on the exit. He'll be loving it.
Yeah, that is an incredible overspeed again, and I'll tell you what, I don't even think I don't want to throw the cameraman under the bus, Mr. Producer, but every car that we jump on going through the death chicane has an incident. I don't think we've missed many of them so far, so I'm not sure the drivers, I think it's just curse of the broadcaster there, so drivers, do feel free to send your letter to complaints to the cameraman. Can't confirm it's his fault so many of you have hit the wall. There we go. Water arrow.
I don't know if anyone watching along has been able to keep up with the count of how many victims the death chicane has claimed, because I think we've lost count. There's just been so many.
Yeah, I ran out of fingers and toes a whole long time ago, so that's me completely lost. I will bust out an abacus and see if I can keep up with them. Certainly Water Arrow looking to keep up. He had a 2-stop strategy last week. He might need to do the same again this week. Quarter tank of fuel left and not much rubber left on those tyres. Looking to recover from what I think is 2 incidents in the death chicane. We've got Tool Shed, one-time leader of the race, Matt. He is now down very last and still got at least 1 pit stop to take. It's a huge fall from grace here from Tool Shed as the top 3 are pulling away at a commensurate rate up here at the front.
Yeah, top 3 absolutely flying, and Samson's really settled into his position now. In second place, he's still holding on ahead of Stone, so great drive from there. As we look back at Airborne, one of the drivers who will be looking for a better result than last week after he spun there at Brands Hatch from second place. So the top driver currently sitting in 6th and putting the pressure on Atard at the moment.
Yeah, he definitely is keeping Atard honest, that is for absolutely sure. That is 9 laps completed for the drivers. Some decent consistency we can see on the board as well.
Yep, you want to
this is...
Sorry, I'll let you jump in.
No, on you go, yeah, please do continue.
I was just going to say it's probably a good time to start talking about the phase of the race we're getting into. It's really a management phase, because look at that tyre wear. We've got the great graphic bottom left showing us all the red of the tyre wear on these cars. They're all, of course, on the racing softs. They've got the same setups on the cars and the same Porsche's GT3, beautiful things. So it's all just drivers that are making the difference at the moment, and now I think there's a few of them who are just trying to hang on to try and make it to this halfway point. We're at 14 minutes, 30-minute race, of course, so we're almost at the halfway point, and then I suspect we're going to see everyone jump into the pits, take that, try and make it a one-stop race, get some fresh tyres, and then they'll be back up to speed and get back into the second half of it.
Indeed, yeah, we are absolutely covering that phase, and it does. I do like that little graphic at the bottom. You do get to keep a good eye on them. You can see. I mean, we've already seen so much happen through the death chicane. The drivers have now got absolutely nothing on the front left tyres to keep them going in the direction that they hope, and the pedal tanks are now flashing red. So I think that flood into the pit is going to absolutely be on this lap. So the drivers might need to do a little bit of nursing of the fuel, but that is certainly, there we go, yep, Dernetti coming into the pits. Samson, Stone, Faf, everyone makes their way into the pit, so they are going for a straight bang on 50-50. A couple of drivers still got white on their petrol tank, so they maybe could have squeezed another lap, but the time lost has been fairly significant since the soft tyres have gone off, and that has them reached the halfway mark. So for quite a few of these drivers, Matt, it really is job one done, which was get to the pit stops further up the grid than when you started the race. Quite a few of them have done that. Dernetti will be particularly happy, given that he's got the lead. But when you look at drivers like Stone as well, not too bad a start, and certainly promising for the second stint.
Oh man, we were talking about the management of the tyres, and that was critical, but the management of the fuel, there was a huge fuel difference as they all came into the pit on the same lap. We got to see a real comparison of it on the graphic. Some of the drivers came in with about 27 litres, and some of them were almost empty, maybe 7. So there's a real different pit stop time there, 5 litres a second the fuel goes in the pits. So if it's a 20 litre difference, I think we saw between those drivers, that's a 4-second difference in the pit stop, and it's worked out here. Or let's have a look at an Airborne, who is effectively third now onto the road. So he was clearly saving fuel in that first stint and doing a great job of it.
Yeah, and that has paid absolute dividends as well. Yeah, that was a good spot. That I did see a big difference, but yeah, completely escaped my little memory that there was such a significant difference in the fuel timing. And yeah, it has definitely worked done out then with Airborne. So he's running pit net P3 at the moment, it's safe to say. Given that he's got Dernetti, yeah, Toolshed is going to have to come into the pits again, so is Bluey. And in fact, sorry, Jan, you go.
No, you're absolutely right there. He's running effective third. We would suspect there's other 2 drivers going to come back in. And interesting in this race that we have seen almost everyone come in on the same lap, so there wasn't that difference in strategy that we saw at Brands Hatch in terms of when they choose to make that pit stop. Louis comes in with just 1 litre, 1% of fuel left in the tank, so he was pushing it to the limit to get that 1 extra lap.
Yeah, he really was. It'll certainly help keep the average weight of the car down if he's managed to nurse the, and it'll obviously get him in the pit box for a bit less time. So you'll be putting in less weight, and putting in less fuel and coming out with less weight on the car. That is Airborne then, up into 3rd place. The reverse off the grid has brought quite the shuffle, but not the shuffle we were potentially expecting, as Dernetti has gone from last to first. Another absolute runaway performance. He's left Stone once again in the closing stages, battling it out for podium positions. Faf just off the podium at the minute, so this would be another good result for Faf and Samson. And well, 5th place with Captain Stews again going for driver of the day with another last 2 top 10 challenge well and truly completed. And I think it's well worth having a look at Water Arrow if we can, please, Mr. Director. And I want to see what his tyres are like. He's up to 8th place and he's on a fresh set of tyres. So he has made back places since his early incident, obviously not carrying any damage. He's got Scotty and Bluey 9th and 10th place with the car in 7th position, so slightly longer in the pit. Attard losing out a couple of spots there. Bluey in 10th, and yeah, we'll drop down again. We'll have a look at Toolshed as well, who was leading the way back up to 11th position. He's got Bruce C and Rusty right behind him though, so certainly not the comfortable overtake we would have been hoping for, as these drivers scrapping it out for the positions down at the back of the grid. Certainly not where Toolshed would have envisaged he was. And I think the cameraman is now showing off, Matt, because thankfully, I mean, well, for entertainment purposes maybe, but thankfully haven't seen too many drivers hit that death chicane in the second stint, so it looks like they're maybe starting to learn their lesson a bit.
Yeah, 11th time around, and I think they finally started to get their eye in on that particular corner. So hopefully, but you do see a couple of drivers are still kind of nervous through there, that's for sure. And as they bounce over those curves, you can see them backing off just a little bit to give themselves the margin they need to get away with it. As we look at this battle, there is no margin between these two. They're chasing down Airborne, and Airborne, who was the car behind for so many laps in the early stages, now having to play the defender role. And jinx out, thinking about a move, doesn't go for it down to the hairpin. And now I think we want to stick with this as they go through the death chicane one more time. How close are they going to get? How hard do they want to push this time around? And again, Faf backs off a little bit just so you can see what's in front of him. Look how close Airborne's getting to the wall there, just grazing it. Oh, on the exit as well. He is right on the limit trying to hold on to the podium position.
Oh, they really are. Both of them absolutely are. They're used to podium battles already. And he's going for a big look up the inside of the final corner. He's absolutely got that done on the brakes. Beautiful move there by Faf to get himself up into third position. I'm sure Airborne is still going to be too disappointed with running in fourth place, knowing that the driver ahead has just clocked the fastest lap of the race as well. So Faf ain't playing in the second stint, that is for sure, and has got themselves up onto a solid podium position with a decent set of tyres underfoot, and track position is going to be absolutely vital when those tyres start to drop off. That is for sure. We're going to see that towards the end of the stint. A couple of drivers being forced into a two-stop strategy after early incidents. Captain Snooze up into fifth position. He's got one-time race leader Samson behind him, looking to close in, but Snooze showing some good pace. I think we need to start a petition, Matt. We cannot be calling Captain Snooze anymore, because if he is snoozing behind that wheel, I would love to see what he could do when he's wide awake, given the amount of overtakes and positions he's gained in this season already.
Absolutely. Maybe Nathan Wakefield is the name. We can stick with Wakefield if we need to, because he is wide awake and pushing on in fifth. Now, again, looking at Airborne through the gesture cane. I love this view because, oh no, that time maybe just a little bit too far, a little scrape on the exit. As it's Faf who seems to have the pace in this group at the moment. He is pushing on, looking to try and catch up to Stone for second place. You mentioned that fastest lap, and it seems like he has slapped on the fresh tyres and just absolutely going for it as he gets loose out of the final corner. So definitely trying to make use of the fresh tyres. Whether that comes back to bite him in the later stages, we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, and the thing is, here at Dragon Trail, you find out the hard way. That is for sure. The driver's finding out the hard way as well that Dernetti is another driver that is absolutely not here to play, doing everything he can for the Hooncorp esports team. He is on for back-to-back wins, brought a maximum of 50 points home for the team last week, and you're going to be hard pushed to find anyone that's going to bet against them bringing home the honours here. I know we've got a few laps and a few goes of the death chicane, and in fact, I tell you what, let's Mr. Cameraman, can we jump on board with Mr. Dernetti, please, and let's watch him go through the death chicane. Ladies and gentlemen, race fans, young and old, please do feel free to observe how to get yourself through the death chicane in one piece, while calmly leading a race by an absolute light year that you started directly at the back. I mean, absolutely millimetre perfect there, Matt. Exactly what you would expect from Dernetti. He is putting on another masterclass here in the MotorMotion E-Series.
As you like, he is absolutely the benchmark in this championship. Out there, started last, remember, was up to third on the second lap, and then quickly claimed first as well. And he's still out there setting quick laps, looking after the tyres, looking after the field, doing everything he needs to do to lead the way and have a big gap back to Stone and the rest of the field behind him.
Yeah, he is doing absolutely incredible things. Toolshed looking to get back into the top 10. Started at the front of the field, dropped down very quickly indeed after a bit of contact up through the uphill chicane that starts the race. Now back up to 12th position with Bluey a bit behind. I think Bluey might have just made the slightest bit of contact with the wall there. And Rusty really struggling to hold on to those tyres, and that doesn't bode well for the closing few laps if that's the type of reaction they're getting already, Matt. The driver's really pushing to hold and gain positions, but it's going to come at a cost in the closing stages.
Just over 5 minutes to go. I think they're going to be hanging on in those final few laps. We've got some yellow flags, so I think we've had someone spin. Yes, we have had someone spin now. It's that Scotty who has gone round. Not sure what exactly caused that, but
wow.
It has dropped to the back of the field late in this race.
Yeah, that is a big drop in position there. So absolute merciless the track. And does have a bit of front end damage on there as well, actually. You can see the nose cone. So that front splitter will not be aerodynamically sound, so the Porsche will be a bit lively. There it is, fixed itself, but you get an idea for how long the damage lasts on the car and slows them down. And Scotty is definitely being slowed down back at the back of the grid. Rusty is still being chased by Toolshed. Toolshed trying to get into the top 10 with Brucey and Water Arrow back up to 8th position. After a difficult start, it is still Dernetti that is unsurprisingly leading the way. Stone and Faf both on the podium. It has been quite the start to the season already, and we're going to see a back-to-back winner. And all change in the podium positions as well as Rusty makes his way through that death chicane. It does manage to survive. A Tard as well, 7th position. So a slight drop, net loss in position, but still a good running order at the minute with Captain Snooze and Samson, the two drivers ahead. Samson's had an absolutely solid race, led for a few laps. No shame in getting overtaken by Donetti, that's for absolutely sure. But Captain Snooze is the driver chasing. We jump back on Bordeaux with Faf. He is still looking to improve that podium position. The tyres and the fuel are both a bit on the lean side. And Matt, we know it's Division 1, it's the top drivers. You would think to yourself, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, but Faf is going to go for the second place with everything that he's got.
So, oh no, it is the dish chicane's claim to Faf. I was just gonna hype him up and say how well he'd been doing, but he makes the mistake. He pushes too hard, too much tyre wear perhaps this time around. Oh, there's another one. Airborne's gone as well.
Wow.
Oh, they're all starting to get sloppy as the tyres wear out and the fatigue sets in late in the race. We've been racing for 27 minutes now, and now the mistakes are coming. Two drivers in the dish chicane again. Add that to the tally. Get the abacus back out. Because crikey, that has been a danger point in this race.
It really has. There's been more contacts with the death chicane than there has been overtakes, and this was a reverse order grid. So that's a lot of overtakes and a whole lot of contacts as Captain Snooze is looking to take advantage of Faf's loss of momentum. Stone in second place was looking over his shoulder. It's now Faf that's looking over his shoulder as Captain Snooze is hunting down a podium. And I tell you, when I'm just looking at the tyres, this is going to be enough grip to actually get a set of softs around the outside or up the inside of a car. With that little rubber left, I've not got a lot of fuel left either, don't have a lot of time left out on track. Dernetti once again has been the forgotten man up at the front as little couple of times as is possible, because he is just absolutely tearing away Stone. As I say, looking good for that second place. Faf in third. Can he hang on, or is Captain Snooze going to serve him a sleeper in the closing laps? That was a dad joke. I can only apologise so often. We've got Samson still in fifth place. Airborne has recovered in sixth. Tard in seventh, and Water Arrow recovering back up to 8th place as well. Through the death chicane we go. Ooh, and that is the slightest touch there, almost by Faf. I think he has. And there we go, an absolute micro touch on the wall, and look at the difference in momentum between the two of them. And Captain Snooze has gone for it up the inside. Faf has closed the door. He was in front, he closed the door. There was a slight bit of contact. They've both survived. It won't do their tyres much good at all. But Captain Snooze really surely now, Matt, absolutely gunning for that P2, given his extra momentum out of the death chicane there.
Absolutely right. He's running out of time to do it as well as the clock is ticking down. The tyres are screaming at this point, complaining. They're having to wrestle these cars around the circuit. And Faf is looking like he is struggling out there. So far hanging on to the position at the moment. Captain Snooze still putting that pressure on. They're going to come down to the hairpin. It could be a chance, but he's a couple of car lengths further back this time around. And Snooze not able to make a move there. But again, a slide on the exit. Is that going to give Snooze the extra momentum he needs to catch back up and try and make a move? They're going to have to go through this fast chicane section, and this is where the tyres will really be screaming. You'll have to be going so much slower through here than you were earlier in the race, adjusting every lap as the tyre wear picks up throughout. And then down here, use the slipstream, get the toe. Can he try and make a move down into the hairpin? Not this time around. They are going to run out of time potentially, so it's going to need to be a move out of the death chicane or something. He's going to have to pull off something special to try and get up onto the podium. Can he do it? I'm going to hold my breath as we go through the dish chicane again.
Yeah, don't hold it too often, you'll... Oh, and he's hit it. He's hit it. That's a big contact there, Captain Snooze. That is a big contact there for Captain Snooze as Dernetti crosses the line, obliviously unaware of any issues at the back of the field or indeed in the death chicane. He just calls it the chicane. Stone is going to come through and take second place, and it is going to be Faf. After a drama-rich race, it does manage to hold on to a podium. Captain Snooze getting a good fourth place. It's going to be Samson who finishes in fifth with Airborne managing to recover and get himself up in the sixth position. Attard in seventh place with Water Arrow getting a good result, getting his way back to eighth. Brucey in ninth position with Toolshed in 10th. It's Rusty in 11th. Oh no, Scotty and Rusty, they're swapping positions in the closing stages. It's absolutely down to the wire between the two of them. Scotty, after a big spin earlier on, he's sending it up the inside of the last corner. This is Division 1. It is so close. It's right down to the absolute... And the camera's slightly frozen for me, but I do believe Scotty has taken that position right out of the final corner there. Yep, confirmation. And Faf taking the fastest lap as well. What a race that was, Matt.
That was a cracking effort. I absolutely loved that. Just as I thought maybe it was getting calm, sort of in that second half phase, then the dish chicane claimed a couple more victims and spiced it all up again. And right down to the wire, the last lap, the battles are still going on. You can't really ask for much more as a spectator, can you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The driver's going straight for it with the strategy and straight for it with the overtaking and straight to the top once again. Matt Dernetti bringing home the bacon in first place. Luke Stone in second. Nick Pfaff in third place. It is Nathan Wakefield who shall now be known as Captain Wide Awake, up in the fourth place with Samson in fifth, Knowles in sixth, Attard finishing in seventh with Easter, Mead and Griffin all making their way into the top 10. Scott Taylor got himself up to 11th with Craig Harcourt in 12th with Smith in 13th, Mahinjahit finishing in 14th, and Dean finishing in 15th position. Oh no, sorry, Mahinjahit and Dean, of course, not starting this evening. I'm just thinking to myself there, I don't remember seeing his name on track tonight. He was certainly making moves last week, but not here this week. But yeah, that is, it's safe to say, Matt, we've seen here already with the MotorMotion E-Series, the start of the series, it's been absolutely incredibly close out on track in Division 1, and the drivers once again, even with the reverse order grid, the cream of the crop really rising, and the drivers really putting on display just how difficult this contest is and their driving talents as well.
Yeah, somehow we threw the reverse grid at them to try and make it difficult, but the top three still came back and were the same top three for the second race. So full credit to those drivers coming through the field. It was close there for Nick at the end. He almost looked like he might have been able to get second before those tyres did go off. So I think he did just push too hard in that second stint early on to catch up, and then those tyres went off at the end. Calling out as well, Aiden Sampson in fifth position. That is a great result. We saw him early on at the front, and he just quietly went around about his work. Didn't make too many mistakes. The faster guys came through, but he was also able to keep some fast drivers behind as well. So fifth place is a great result. And then Campbell Knowles was running for a potential podium again this week after being second and crashing last week. And this week it is a crash into the wall that he sort of did himself through the death chicane. So unfortunate for Campbell that sort of 2 out of 2 has come unstuck, but he's showing the pace to be fighting up there. And then as well, Drew Griffin is the other driver I was going to call out. Toolshed started at the front, had that crash on the first lap, had to come into the pits. He came into the pits at the end of the first lap, remember? So he did a two-stop strategy there, still managed to get up to 10th and claim a few extra points for his team. So I'm sure his teammate will be happy, would have been cheering him on in that race. We'll be happy to see he got those extra points, and we'll now be getting ready, because we'll be getting ready for race 2, and the second drivers will be lining up in that one.
Indeed, well, yeah, several options here for driver of the day. I think I'm going to have to pick a driver of the day here, and it is such a tough choice. I think I'm going to have to just say Matt Dernetti. to go from last to first in this field, absolutely dominate and survive the death chicken absolutely perfectly for the entirety of the 30-minute race. I think for me, Dernetti is going to get himself driver of the day nod from the commentary box, so another accolade under his belt. That one, of course, the most important of them all, obviously.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I would agree with you there. He's deserving of the driver of the day there. He didn't put a foot wrong. We threw the challenge of putting him on the back of the grid with the reverse grid, and you know, one lap in he was in third. It was incredible, and from there, no mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely flawless victory, Mortal Kombat style there. Finished them, and he certainly did. But that is the end of round 2, race number 1, Division 1. But fear not, we still have plenty of more excitement to come this evening in the MotorMotion E-Series Carrera Cup, sponsored by Sterling Parts, and it will be Division 2. The drivers' teammates will be looking to emulate or improve on their teammates' positions. Same car, same track, a whole different field of drivers. I had the privilege of being here for both races last week, and I'm going to be back for both this evening as well. But Matt Smith, I believe you will be leaving us, but thank you very much for your time in the commentary box, and absolutely a phenomenal showing from yourself, and looking forward to getting you back in for a front seat of the action.
Oh look, I'm loving this series, so I will be happy.
Oh, Matt is staying. My apologies,
Yeah.
Matt, you are staying. Yeah,
I'm enjoying it so much
yes.
that I'm not going to let you get rid of me. I'm sticking around for race 2.
Excellent, excellent. I misread the running order. There we go. But yes, no, so Matt will be back, and we will have George from TrackSpotTV, of course, proud broadcasting partners of MotorMotion E-Series. After an agreement was reached, we will be bringing all of the action from MotorMotion E-Series Racing Series, and given what we're seeing so far, I'm absolutely here for it. As I say, we'll have a short 5-minute break, and then Matt and myself will return, and we will bring you all of the action from race number 2, which will of course be Division 2. Until then, get yourself finally refreshed, and we'll see you all in 5 minutes. Welcome back, race fans. It is the MotorMotion E-Series, sponsored by Sterling Parts Carrera Cup. It's season 3, it's round number 2. It's the Desiccate, it's Dragon Trail. It is myself, John, right back to bring you through all of the action as part of TrackSpotTV, proud broadcasting partners of MotorMotion E-Series. Of course, broadcasting on MotorMotion E-Series channel, so thank you to everyone that's liked and subscribed. To everyone else, why not? Get it done. You know the score. Of course, on TrackSpotTV as well, on Twitch and YouTube. Jump yourself on to the MotorMotion E-Series Facebook page as well. Keep up to date with everything that is going on with the league, and it is pretty huge. Lots of things to come. And of course, you can jump on to the website, which even for a Scotsman that can say purple burglar alarm is quite the mouthful. It's MotorMotion e-series.wordpress.com, so get yourself over there and help support the league, and most importantly, get yourself involved in the action, and we promise there will be plenty of that still to come. A man who will wholeheartedly agree. He's joining me again for race number 2 is Matt Smith. Good evening, Mr. Matt. Looking forward to Division 2, I'd imagine.
Good evening. Yeah, you couldn't get rid of me. I'm back for Division 2, and I'm excited to see how this new bunch of drivers can take on what has proven to be a difficult track so far tonight.
It really has, yep. Dragon Trail Seaside, 3.2 miles long, nestling in the Croatian hills, and of course, unaffectionately nicknamed the Desiccate by the drivers, and it has proved it's absolutely lived up to its name in race number 1. We'll see how we get on in race number 2. We are going to go straight over to the grid and get the action underway, as it is again a reverse order grid that we see the drivers taking part in. 5 lights out, and away we go. It's foot down, flat out and flying. That's a false start on the front row. That's a false start on the front row. That's tumbling down the order. Fly has just lost every position under the sun. Now mid-pack going up the hill, not where you want to be. Blue Dog leading the way. Marty McFarty making hay while the sun shines, heading up the hill, and he's done it. He's got the double overtake in the first 2 corners. He's leading the way. Blue Dog in second, Hero in third. Oh, we've got a big drop down order. Huge contact up the hill. That is why, it's almost like the Mystic Meg. I did predict the death chicane and the uphill chicane being potential hotspots, and the heat has been on for the drivers, and so is contact with one another. And the Walnut, we're not even through the first lap, and Division 2 drivers already struggling. I genuinely fear for our first time around as we're going to see Robinson lose the position. He's absolutely outdone himself on the curve. Legendary Berry is going to come straight through. We've got Blue Dog now coming under serious pressure. Manny McFarty is checking out at the front as Legendary Berry is looking to get up to third place. Oh, we've got a driver in the background hitting the grass. Manny McFarty going to be the first driver in to the Desiccate. There's so much going on in the back end there. Skippy is making up positions, but Blitz Lightning, so calculated risk as well. He took a few in the first race and ended up onto the podium. Going through the Desiccate, there we go. I think the top 3 have survived. Blue Dog's made himself a bit of contact there, but he has just about held on to the position, or has he? Here comes Lightning Berry, putting the name Lightning Berry. Must use up the inside of the last corner on the first lap, makes it stick with that fresh, soft rubber, and behind that's Robinson and Skippy going side by side. We've got Calculated Risk and Madrick, 2 of the podium drivers from last week, of course, down at the back of the grid for the start of this one. But now already back up to 8th, 9th and 10th. So he's going to go 3 wide into turn the number 1 of the lap number 1. That's Prince Lightning looking for position. Skippy's got the outside line, going to have the inside on the way up the hill, but there is already a car in that position. CP1 and CP2. Oh, and CP2's come back on and just given Robinson a bit of a tap on the rear. That is a phenomenal save there by Robinson. Full code brown cleanup on aisle 3. Oh, Skippy having another look up the inside through the imitation Lesmos. Oh, there's a bounce back online, and that is a drop down the order. That is a huge contact with the wall there. Prince Lightning and Legendary Berry are now going in at Blue Dog, closing in. Calculated Risk up to 7th, and Madrick up to 8th place. Oh, CP1 and 2 didn't quite go full halves so far. They've still got plenty of time to do so though, as we head down towards the Desiccate. That, Matt, is how we do a lap 1 here is absolutely incredible. Marty McFarty up into the lead of the race, and yeah, just every corner has been a hotspot so far as we're seeing action up and down the field in the opening exchanges.
Absolutely right. We'll just keep a look at this as well because we're going through the dash chicane for a second time around. Can they navigate this one cleanly? Seems like they're doing a reasonable job. There's contact with the wall from calculated risk. He calculated the risk. I think he got the calculations wrong because he has ended up in the fence there and lost the position as Blue Dog comes through. But we saw in the first race the Division 1 drivers, particularly for Hooncorp, doing very well and getting quickly around this track. So the Division 2 would have been thinking they were trying to emulate, those Division 1 drivers. Unfortunately, they emulated it too much on the first lap with that turn 1 crash. And we saw that in both races now that it's been a tight spot. But this race is all go, isn't it? There's just constant action. Overtakes being made every corner somewhere in the field. And there's another one, Blue Dog, in the 7th now. As he's got calculated risk, trying to claim that spot back. And actually a queue of cars lining up to try and get in position.
Yeah, they're absolutely nose to tail. Saw the time wolf down and drinking tea a bit too quickly there. CP2 still got themselves fully involved in the action. It's still absolutely side by side in the early exchanges, and no one to predict too much in the future, but I do think we're going to see a couple of cars fluctuating up and down the order, given how willingly these drivers are to test the barriers around here. Can confirm the barriers will win every time. We'll see how long it takes these drivers to get that message, certainly in the top division to the first stint, second stint, a lot less contact. We'll see if that's the same in Division 2. Oh, and that's a bit unstable there from Haro. I think he is going to lose. Oh, he's not going to lose time to Legendary Berry, because Legendary Berry is going to lose time to everybody because he is absolutely clattered. Very good Scottish word. The wall there. He's already down to 8th position. He's got Hazeldean, who had a good performance last week as well, finished in 4th place. I did nominate Hazeldean for one of the drivers of the day because of the consistency. I did say that's the type of thing that wins championships. Up to 8th, we've got an 4-way battle out of the last corner. Legendary Berry with a legendary contact on that death chicane and finds himself down several positions. Here comes Griffin after a false start last week, of course. Made it up into the top 10. Now running in 10th place once again. Again, another car getting ahead of Legendary Berry, now down to 11th position. We've got Hodges running in 12th place. We'll have a quick check of the rest of the field as well, because there's been so much going on. With the front, we've got Hodges and Robinson. Oh, and that's hopped us the wrong way. Curse of the commentator. As soon as we put the camera on him, he is absolutely round the wrong way. Matt, that looks like another corner we're going to be adding 2 hotspots. That was slightly of a character for the course, but Hodges feeling the pain on that one, and that is going to be a big drop in position and time there.
Yep, absolutely. Second big incident for the Hooncorp car. We saw Hooncorp win Division 2. It's going to be a big challenge to try and repeat that feat for Hodges here in Division 2. So it's Marty McFly who looks on track out in front. Great looking SPC Tools liveried car. He's got Harrow in behind, chasing him down, but a decent gap there, so he can be reasonably comfortable at this point and maybe, leave that margin through the dash chicane so he doesn't end up making a mistake like some of the other drivers that we've seen.
Yeah, certainly. I would say number one strategy here is just survive the death chicane and you'll finish ahead of several of your competitors, given the way we've seen them going. We've got Skippy, who's had a phenomenal start up in 3rd place with Brits Lightning, now in 4th, and Madrick, another driver that featured in the top 5 last week, already back up to 5th position with calculated risk, making a bit of contact as well, we saw, but already running in 6th position. The tyres starting to see that little bit of wear now that we're 5 laps into 3.2 miles, so 16 or so miles that the drivers have covered already, and that's going to see them coming into the pits. It's going to be on exactly the same schedule as the Division 1 drivers, you would think, just given the length of the course and the amount of fuel that they're carrying. But this could be another important one as well. Matt, we saw in race 1 just how all-encompassing the race is, with some of the drivers managing to fuel save in the first stint, meaning that we're in the pits for less time, giving them an advantage on the way out. So yeah, again, these drivers, we could see some of them making up positions just purely on taking it easy in stint one, saving a bit of fuel and being a bit more strategic.
Absolutely right. All the same settings here for race 2 as it was in race 1, so we're expecting to see the same strategies. These drivers, I'm sure, will be working with their teammates during the week to try and come up with the best plans. But now it's about the drivers and being in the heat of the moment. You know, sometimes the plans go out the window and you just want to push hard for that overtake. So we see the chicane again, claims another one. Blue Dog this time around, into the fence, loses the spot. You don't have to hit the wall hard to lose all that momentum on the exit and lose positions because they're so close at the moment.
Yeah, indeed, as we saw, it just takes a micro touch of the wall to rob you of that all-important corner exit speed and then rob you of those championship points as other drivers sail on past. And I tell you what, Blue Dog is very quick behind legendary Berry there. Hodge is recovering, still running in 13th, but does have Robinson running him pretty close. In fact, he's moving over to try and shake off that slipstream. Fly, who started at the front of the grid. Oh, Death Chicken once again. That is an absolute killer contact with the wall. No contacts with the wall so far. Fingers crossed, touch wood, cross everything here. Marty McFarty from the start of the race gifted the lead. Certainly didn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Absolutely off and running since getting himself up there. Got Haro in second place, with Skippy having a phenomenal race, gaining at least 5 positions to make it up on to the podium. Very close, very comparative lap times as well between the top 3. Ooh, and that's before the death chicane then, and Skippy still on for a personal best sector 2 there, despite that big contact through the death chicane. Nicely done, Skippy. That is a very good run out of the corner. We're 6 laps in. The driver's tyres certainly looking that little bit worse for wear. I'd love to see the flames firing out the back of the car. I think it's safe to say though, we are seeing a little bit more wear on the tyres, Matt, at this stage from the Division 2 drivers than we were with some of the Division 1, but no real surprise here given how technical some of the corners and some of these corners are. You can really see the difference between the top and the second tier.
Yep, I think you're spot on there, and we really are reaching that phase now where it is going to be about the management. Can you make it to the 15-minute mark to pull off a one-stop race here, or are we going to see some of these drivers have to, you know, change the strategy, go for the 2-stop, try something different to be able to make it to the end? Because look at how much red is on those tires. They will be screaming out, complaining under the cars, and you can see the lap times will be affected as a result. They're sort of a second lap slower at the moment, it looks like. So they have to adjust their driving to not having as much grip as they would like in these cars.
Yeah, most definitely going to have to do some major adjustments, and if they're going to hold the position, as you say, we saw from race 1 about an almost finite point in time when you can come into the pits. You need to be able to refuel all the way to the end. You need to get as much out of these tyres as you can to get to that halfway mark, and even then, you know that when you come in, by the time you finish the race, it's going to be exactly, the tyres are going to be pretty much the same as when you finish stint 1. So tyre management is why we talk about it a lot. It is absolutely vital in these races, almost as vital as keeping out of the wall at the Death Chicken. We are 7 laps in. We've got Martin McFarty still leading the way. We're on board with Maverick, who is closing in handily at the minute, it has to be said, on Brits Light, and with Skippy still in 3rd place. Hazeldine up in the 6th position, so good drive by Hazeldine with calculated risk. Still in 7th, and D. Griffin once again getting the job done out on track, finds himself up into 8th place, and he is just behind calculated risk as well. We saw at Brands Hatch just how good calculated risk was, but it does seem that he maybe a bit more talent around there than here, which is something that we touched on. And Matt, that is definitely a very real thing with the drivers. It's all fine and well being good at one track or one type of track, like say Brands Hatch, but things like Spa, Dragon Trail, entirely different types of track, and brings out an entirely different skill set. So you really can see a bit of a mix-up in the running order from race to race.
You're absolutely right there. And this season has been, well, is set up to be a real mix of different circuits as well. So we might see that dynamic where we have different race winners across the championship. Of course, the races we've already had, Brands Hatch versus Dragon Trail here. They're quite different circuits already, but then we head to Spa, and then after that, Red Bull Ring, which is the short, tight circuit. So it's, it's really going to be varied, and being able to have the consistency across the different tracks is what's going to get you up there in the championship. So some of these drivers will be thinking long term about, working with their teammate to try and win the team championship. Some of them will be out there trying to attack their favorite track and just get that one race win if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing home the all guts, no glory type scenario, and as race drivers, that is what brings you home the race wins. I did mention it last week as well. You roll the dice, you either get Yahtzee or you don't. Hero or zero if the strategy works out. We saw a couple of two-stop strategy work out in round number 1 for Division 2, finishing in 5th position with much better tyres than anyone else out on track. So certainly a couple of laps more. Could have seen a bit of a difference. At the minute we're seeing the potential for a bit of a difference on the podium as we get to that pit stop stage. And I've just had a quick look down Skippy. I mean, that front tyre, I know it's getting dark here, we've got headlights on. I think pretty soon we're going to get some pretty high visibility from the sparks coming from the rims of the tyre, because I can confirm there is little to no rubber left of those things.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see now whether the pit stops come out, or is he going to try and push for that one more extra lap to make it past the 15-minute point as they go for a move. So even with no tyres, they're still racing hard side by side.
Yeah, absolutely commitment from the drivers. They're going to go side by side to the entrance of the dead chicane. Someone is going to have to get back out here as they get the Russian let, and they've got another car, Boots Lightning, right behind them as well, keeping it very close. The road then back out of it. Skippy in 2nd place. What a way to get the move done with absolutely zero rubber on the tyres, and the drivers can confirm are all coming into this lap, rubber or not. They've got no fuel left in the cars. There's no way anybody is getting another lap, and here we come then, single file. It is an absolute marching order into the pits as we do. Marty McFarty has stayed out. Does he have enough? Matt, please, I'm going to pinch myself to make sure he's waiting. Does he have enough lap left? Enough fuel left to do a lap? I mean, that thing's red. I'm flabbergasted here.
Yeah, he's made a liar out of you, but he's going to be on fumes at the end, isn't he? He's going to be on fumes. He's going to be just on the limit to get round for another lap. So we'll keep an eye on it. But Marty McFly is taking a bold, maybe risk here to get that one extra lap in.
Yeah, you did say somebody might need to do something bold with the strategy. I didn't think it would be juggled with the fuel saving quite like that. The rest of the cars have all come in and out, and that is a row saying goodbye to a podium. You would say there a 3-second penalty there, Matt. That is the first one we've seen tonight, and it is an absolute killer.
Yeah, that's got to hurt. I did see it actually as they pulled into the pit lane. He was well out wide, trying to carry the speed out of the last corner, crossed that pit lane line on entry, and the stewards have no flexibility around that. 3-second penalty handed to him, and with 2 cars, look how close he's got the 2 cars right behind him. That is got to hurt.
Oh, that really does. Net P3 completely out of the window. Skippy is now going to find himself with a fairly clear rear spoiler for the foreseeable future. Got a few laps left to go. He knows this is now the time if he's going to attack.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh,
but
Marty has
made it back.
No.
Got around the lap, 1% fuel left, so maybe even could have gone another 100 meters and survived. And he's into the pits now, so we'll keep an eye where he comes out. But right now, we're not going to look away because there is a battle here. Legendary Barry, all round the outside. Oh, and that is Hodges actually up into 5th. So has he done his pit stop, or is he about to come into the pits? Oh,
no, he's about to come in.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say that would have been a big change of position. But, so they've got our...
He's on 0 fuel. Robinson on 0.
Incredible to time it.
Yeah, absolutely down to the wire, completely maximising the fuel tank. Have they over maximised the tyres? Is it 1 lap too many on that rubber. Is it going to be being too detrimental to their lap time? We will see. Skippy is still out leading the way.
And he's actually
Sorry.
Marty McFly has come out behind Skippy there. So Skippy's gained a position in the pit stop. He perhaps was having to lift and coast a bit too much on that final lap, doing one more lap than everyone else. And that has resulted in losing position on track. He will have one lap fresher tyres, so maybe he can push on for the remaining stint. We're going to have to see what pace Marty McFly has now that he doesn't have the lead of the race. In fact, the lead of the race on track, currently Legendary Berry, who I believe is opting for a two-stop strategy. You can see the tyre wear there. They clearly have come out, sort of did their pit stop a lot earlier than everyone else. And they're going to have to come back in again. So Legendary Berry, the one driver opted to do something different to the rest of the group.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, it's also been brought to my attention from the truck that we have a big difference in fuel between Skippy and Marty as well. So just like in race number 1, we saw drivers losing positions because they had more fuel in the tank when they came in, took less on to get themselves to the end. And that is looks like to have been the same with Marty as well. So he has taken a full tank of fuel. So I wonder if he's just not pressed the button in time, or has just made a bit of an error. But that's put Skippy up into position, provisional lead of the race with Legendary Berry still to come into the pits. Haro with that big contact in the wall, big mistake. And calculated risk then is up to 5th position. Now that could be 4th, depending on where Lightning Berry comes out. So that could be another very good drive there. Heseldine currently in 8th position as well. I wouldn't rule him out for some more overtakes in the closing stages. Really got the job done out on track last week with the consistency. Managed to hold 4th place for the entirety of the race, and it was an absolutely masterful drive as well. That was who I was talking about when I said consistency wins the championships, and it'll certainly be doing his team the world of good with these consistent results. Colin in 9th place, Madrick in 10th position. So well down on where he was last week. Of course, some drama in the closing stages, but he was there or thereabouts in the top 5 all the way to the end. He's currently ahead of Blue Dog in 11th. He's being followed by Chase there in 12th place, so not too far down. Hodges, another driver that we've seen with a bit of an incident during the race, facing the wrong way, it's safe to say. 13th position currently for him. Robinson in 14th, and Fly, who of course with the reverse order started at the front of the grid, now down to the back, and in fact being blue flagged by some of the race leaders. Making sure he gets himself right out of the way as Legendary Berry comes in, the final driver to take their pit stop, and that does, Matt, put Skippy into the lead of the race. And we're going to be on fuel watch, but I think he's got it absolutely bang on.
Yeah, great drive from Skippy so far. Like you say, the one question mark is the fuel. So I wonder, as you were talking there and we were skipping through the cars, I was keeping an eye on the different fuel levels of some of the different drivers, and they have opted to fill up, there's quite a difference still in terms of how much they have filled up. So I wonder if some of these drivers are putting extra fuel in so that they can just fuel burn the rest of the race, go as fast as they can, whereas some drivers opting maybe to put the least amount possible and knowing that they're going to have to fuel save for the stint. But those two strategies I think are going to come together. We're going to see them come together for the lead of the race as well, as Marty McFarty is catching up here to Skippy, and now with the beautiful lights on display on the front of these cars as we get into the dark racing conditions, we're going to have a race for the lead, I think.
Yeah, we've absolutely got a race for the lead on the cars here. Skippy and Marty, as you say, the lights are dimming. Of course, that will make the death chicane even easier when they're doing it at night with the headlights on, won't it? No, sorry, I'm just hearing in my ear that I've got that wildly wrong. No, it definitely makes it a lot more difficult, especially when you've got a set of brake lights jamming on in front of you as well. All the extra hard work for the Division 2 drivers. I think it should have been the Division 1 drivers that had to drive in these conditions. I'm sure Division 2 would agree. Although they'll be having themselves some fun. Skippy and Marty McFly. There's no fun for them at the moment. It is all about the business end of the race. With 14 laps in, they've been into the pits. They're now on slightly different fuel strategies, although they do seem to be burning it at a decent rate, with Brits Lightning holding on to 3rd place. But how long is Lightning going to be hold on to that one for calculated risk in 4th and Harrow. After that penalty for crossing the pit lane illegally on the way in. 3 seconds drops him down to 5th place. Griffin up to 6th position, so going from strength to strength after a false start in race 1, round 1. And now finds himself up into 6th place. Hazeldine has made up a position as well. He's now running in 7th position ahead of Colin and Madrick. So a good drive for Hazeldine once again, and that puts him ahead of Madrick as he was behind him last week. So phenomenal news for us in the team standings. Not so much for the team, really. Legendary Berry back in the pits in 10th place, so really went long on the fuel and the tyres, and could well have been worth it, as sets a purple sector 1 after setting the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 37.6 chase in 11th place as we come into the closing stages with Blue Dog in 12th. It's Hodges currently running in 13th place and running in the slipstream of Blue Dog as well, so positions changing there potentially. Robinson and Fly currently the drivers bringing up the rear of the field, but it is the top 2, Matt, that we see absolutely inseparable coming into the closing stages, and this is going to be a battle for the ages to see who brings home the win here in the MotorMotion E-Series, sponsored by Sterling Parts, round number 2.
More deep into turn 1, Skippy will be feeling the tyre wear, sneaking in now as he's wide on the exit, so not wide on the exit, but sliding again on the exit, gets it wrong, and Marty does not need a second invitation, slips straight on through into the lead, but the fight's not over. Down the inside, big sin into the hairpin, doesn't come off, so composure from Marty to hold on round the outside. The battle is on now, though. It has been quiet at the lead up until this point. Now it is all go with just 6 minutes or 5.5 minutes left to go in this race. It is going to come down to the wire. Who has managed their tyres the best? Who has managed the fuel the best? Perform when it counts into these final few laps. There could be another chance here as they get the long straight. The slipstream will bring you back into the fight, but Skippy not quite close enough this time around, has to slot it behind, and we'll keep an eye on it now as they head through the death chicane. It has been feeling like the Division 2 has been performing better in the death chicane. We've seen less deaths than we saw in the Division 1. Can the front runners get through here tidy once again on lap 15? They can. They continue on down to the final corner now. Skippy being the hunter, and Marty hunted out in front.
Indeed, yeah, the moonlight hunting, we're going to call this one. Marty, McFly and Skippy. Skippy was in P1, living up to the name, but it's Marty that's retaking it after a bold move. Legendary Berry still taking fastest laps, taking a couple of tenths off. Taking another couple of hundredths off, sorry. So the fastest driver on track at the minute, currently running outside the top 7. It just goes to show you how close this field is and how crucial the pit stops are. It's right nip and tuck between the top 2. Marty and Skippy. We are into the closing 5 minutes. We have a look up the inside through the middle of the track. Not many places to get the overtakes done here. We've seen some absolutely outrageous overtakes so far through some very technical corners, and if we're going to see the lead change of hands again, it's either going to be a worldie of an overtake or the slightest of mistakes. They've still got to get through the death chicane at least twice more. Are we going to see any late drama provided by the corner? A beautiful shot of the rear of the cars there, with the flames flashing out in the darkness. You can see just how dark it's got, and it really has dropped off there. The temperature will have dropped off as well, but certainly the lighting conditions have absolutely plummeted. Slight wiggle there from Marty, wasn't quite as planted as Skippy was. They both make it out though absolutely unscathed. Marty will manage to keep the lead into the final corner with only maybe a lap more to go. Certainly not long left, Matt, and I'll tell you what, there's absolutely not much left on the tyres. So the drivers here, you've got to think, I commentate, I don't drive, obviously, but the Skippy at this point, you've got to be thinking, Definitely. Oh no, he's potentially going to be handed the overtake. Matt, ignore what I said. He's going to go for the overtake, but with not much rubber left on the tyres, both drivers are going to be a touch nervous here. I think we can agree on that.
Absolutely right. This is all on. They've done 27 minutes of racing at this point. Fatigue will be setting in. The concentration levels, though, will be at peak because this is all go for the lead of the race. Opportunity to get a race win for round number 2 of the MotorMotion Carrera Cup. And there's nothing between it. This is not resolved at this point. They should be able to get around for one more lap after this. But both these drivers have been driving on the ragged edge, gliding these Porsches through some of the exits as they try and find any grip on these racing soft tires that have already done 14 odd minutes and are really complaining. You can see bottom left just how much red is on the tires as we head once again through the death chicane. So far, Marty doing just enough to be hanging on to the position. Last time around, though, there was a better run here for Skippy. Can he do it again on this occasion? Looks like up, and there is going to be a few car links between them as they head into the final corner onto what should be the final lap this time around.
Yes, indeed. I do think it is going to be the final lap. We've got 28 minutes on the race counter. We've got position still changing hands. So it's Hazeldine. Is he going to get himself back up to 4th place? He's got himself up in the 5th position. We're calculating this in Haro. Has got himself back up in the running as well. They're going to go side by side. There's a bit of door banging on the way out of the last corner. Positions have changed. Hazeldine now 5th position. Haro and Colin absolutely going in it. They're differentiated by the different colour lights. Griffin now in 9th position with legendary Berry, as he is still the holder of the fastest lap as well, so absolutely no messing about from the midfield. In 10th, Hodges has gained the position as well, with Robinson in 13th and Blue Dog in 14th, so Robinson has made up the spots since coming out of the pits as well, so a couple of positions down at the back of the field changing. But on the, is this going to be the closing lap? The drivers will certainly be hoping it's the closing lap. We've got absolutely no fuel left in the tank, never mind no rubber left on the tyres. We have the lead of the race in the hands of Marty McFardy. He's got P1 Skippy trying to get himself P1. He's run deep. He's going to lose absolutely huge amounts of time there to Marty ahead. Marty is going to be taken as easy as possible through the death chicane. You would think final time at Askin, he's mounted the curbs, and it is, yep, 30 minutes, so this is definitely going to be the last corner, and that is Marty McFarty. He has fended off the advances of Skippy. Skippy with this another minor mistake through the death chicane, and that has been an all-in deciding factor in both of tonight's races. It's claimed so many victims, so many positions, and quite a few podium spots. That is for sure, but it is Marty that crosses the line and takes the checkered flag with P1 Skippy closing back in to, well, less than half a second there, as to be said. Brits Lightning finishing in 3rd place with calculated risk, bringing home 4th ahead of Hazeldine in 5th. That is some phenomenal back-to-back consistency from Hazeldine. Madrick in 7th place. With Harrow in 8th, it's Griffin in 9th position, chasing 10th. Legendary Berry finishing in 11th with the fastest lap again, showing just how close this field is. Hodges in 12th place. We've got Robinson in 13th position. Blue Dog finishing in 14th place, and Fly rounding out the grid. Finishing in 15th position, but that Matt was masterful from Marty McFly up at the front. He took advantage exactly when and where he needed to, and he's brought home a very, very, very good race win.
Yeah, congratulations to Marty there. What a drive. Wasn't made easy with Skippy, keeping it close, putting up a great fight, but I don't think we saw any mistakes from Marty throughout the race. He got in the lead early, looked like it was reasonably comfortable until the pit stops came around. He took that one extra lap ahead of everyone, more than everyone else, and sort of made his job difficult coming out in P2, but then, you know, put on a show at the end and just drove phenomenally to get that race win.
Indeed, yeah, and it was their confirmation. Dylan Scarborough winning the race, Chucky in 2nd, Brunel in 3rd position, with Albertine this week finishing in 4th place after a good race. Hazeldean in 5th, with Colin in 6th. Atwell in 7th, Harrison and Griffin 8th and 9th, with Chase in 10th place. Berry and Hogan 11th and 12th. Robinson in 13th. Splint in 14th. Kentwell in 15th. Mark Scarborough not starting the race this week, and I think driver of the day for this one for me has got to be Scarborough. Back to it's not often I vote for a race winner for driver of the day. I'll do, especially when they've run off into the distance, but Scarborough, I think, really had to work for that there. He played his strategy well, and I think I'm going to give him the round 2 Division 2 driver of the day. What say thee, Matt?
Yep, I think that's absolutely fair. It was a great drive there. The other thing I did just want to raise as well is the one-stop strategy was certainly the way to go there. We saw Berry come in for the 2-stop and drop down, finishing 11th in the end, so it didn't work out. Had the fastest lap to their name, but just had too much work to do to try and catch up to the rest of the pack in those sort of 10 minutes where he had the fresher tyres.
Yeah, indeed, yeah, worth a go, but not working out this week for Berry. You've got points for fastest lap, but yeah, outside the top 10. So yeah, congratulations to Dylan Scarborough. Brings home a race win after finishing 13th last week. That is quite the upturn in fortunes, and really will throw the team standings wide open going into round number 3. And remember as well, we want to hear from you all, everyone liking and subscribing on the channels that were on TrackSpotTV, of course, and MotorMotion E-Series as well. Big shout out and thank you to the sponsors also. But give us your drivers of the day in the chat as well. Who do you think deserves the honours? And so yeah, give us driver of the day for Division 1, driver of the day for Division 2, and an overall driver of the day as well. Get yourself involved. That is all we've got time for this evening, though, certainly from Matt and myself, from the MotorMotion E-Series, sponsored by Sterling Parts. It's the Carrera Cup. It's season 3. That was round number 2 with the Dragon Trail. And Matt, an absolutely exceptional night of racing. Thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box. It was incredible.
Yep, certainly a lot of fun in this series. Thanks for having me along. Dragon Trail Seaside producing another spectacular set of races.
Yep, it really did. It really did. We will be joined by George Cook, so that is all from me. He is going to close out the show, but thank you once again. Make sure you get yourself over to the website motormotioneseries.wordpress.com and get yourself signed up to the racing, and we will be back, of course, next week for the next installment, which will be my beloved Spa. So I will see you all then. Until then, it is Mr. George Cook to take us home.
Whoa, what an absolutely fantastic round of racing here for the Sterling Parts Carrera Cup, and a big thank you to John Wright and Matt Smith for calling the action. There was so much action in Division 2 that we didn't even know what to do. I'm very impressed with the job that they've done tonight. Thank you everyone in chat as well for joining us, and of course a massive thank you to the MotorMotion E-Series admins and stewards who do so much hard work in the background. Remember, go to their website www.motormotioneseries.wordpress.com, and of course our broadcasting partner TrackSpotTV, https TrackSpot.tv. Eventually I'll get that right, and I should do, because I'm the Chief Executive Officer of TrackSpotTV. Nonetheless, we're going to leave it there. Thank you all for tuning in. Next time it's round 3. We're heading to Spa, and it's going to be a good one. Until then, stay safe out there, take care, and we will see you next time.